All right, so we're back with opening eyes to possibilities. This is part two of this series, and what we're basically going to be looking into is continuing off of our last week's uh, segment. This is going to be heavily reliant on that one, so I'm just letting you know in advance that if you're kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to jump in, you got to jump in specifically in this series, and you got to follow it through each part. So, anyways, my name is Joseph Ganchar, Ganchar Enterprise. We're just going to jump into this. So, we're talking about influencers. We're talking about the way how they need to have things in a certain, not format or order, but just in a certain approach on life, on the way how they approach certain environments, how they're able to approach certain situations, circumstances, dilemmas, anything that would cause potential opportunity or threats of inner or outer organizational situations, circumstances, etc. Okay, so when you know your influencer, so this is when they are already in your organization and they're like, okay, we're moving forward. These are our key people that are going to be able to help us to really elevate to where we need to go next. You really got to be able to go into the mindset of, okay, now that I have them, I know who they are, I identified them. How do I prepare them? Okay, so again, from last week, we had a list. So when that list is pretty close to being fully satisfied, you got to say, okay, now it's time to go full stream ahead. And the approach is everything. Now, what do I mean by that? It's just there's timing, tact, and tone. Then you have also when you're able to see things from a certain angle, you got to be able to understand what are the perspectives are in that situation or circumstances that have to be accounted for. So, meaning that this is everything that is aligned, everything's like fully like primed and ready to go. So this is basically when you have like your all-star team that have just basically collaborated together and they're just getting introduced to each other. Okay, so for myself, very much into sports many years ago. I was on very successful and very catastrophic teams. You could tell it even when you're just getting into the room, you can feel the energy, you could feel the environment, you could feel that something great's about to happen when you know that you have a very strong core together and that you are going to accomplish great things. And then it all lines together, and then you're able to just go straight forward to a championship. And it could even go into a series of championships. I've been in that case as well. So, anyways, moving forward. So, these winners are not just added to the team, they are actually major influencers in the organization that they are part of, meaning that they are not only able to hold their own and do what is asked for them, but they continue to add value in the sense of going above and beyond. You know, it could be smallest things ever, as far as cleaning up after somebody, just doing the small little extra things that you're like, that's not my job. That person who actually tends to do those small little things, adding, a touch to, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do this, even though it's not in my scope. But I think it would be just a better work environment if we were able to collectively do this on a repeated basis. So you'll see that's one or two people out of a group. What they'll do is they'll reach out in that way in an act of service. So it's almost like a servant type of leadership where they're able to do these certain things. And that's just a small snippet for you to see, okay, well, I'm not sure where I need to find these people. Those are small indicators, people that just continue to reach out in a way of act of service in the sense of going above and beyond. Okay. And then great things are not expected to happen. They will. Okay. So you're not just going to be like, okay, I'm hoping. No, like great things will happen, but it's all going to depend on you as the leader. How far are you in the sense of your vision, your passion, the drive, the dream, the end goal? Do you actually have all those steps in place to get from, to get there? Is that 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? Before it used to be, what's your 5, 10, 20, or even 30-year plan as an organization? Now it's actually more. It's not even 6 months. It's more of a 1 month, 6 month, 1 year. maybe even a 2-year type of a plan. The reason being is because you have so many moving parts. So you have to understand when you're seeing these things, because that's what I had to do. I was actually very, AI, I'm telling you, I was extremely hesitant. I was extremely like, okay, like the world's ending. This is not. And then I thought, you know what? It's not going away. I got to embrace it. I got to embrace change. I got to embrace this new access point of information that now that I look at it, because it's been years, it's actually, fortunately, some of the greatest benefits I could have ever experienced. Like these images that I put on all of these PowerPoints, all AI, a couple of prompts and it's done. Okay. So knowing when you're in this environment and you can feel the energy and you have these tools and resources and ready to go, this is when great things are almost guaranteed to happen. Chances are very highly in your favor and likely to happen, but that doesn't guarantee you that they will. Okay, you'll maybe get a couple of good hits, hey, like look what we did over here, look what we did over there, but it won't be on a consistency basis or a consistent manner where you're able to continue to hit certain points so that you're able to grow on a major scale and stay there. Because you'll see a lot of businesses that get to a certain point. The certain point is the leadership of who is actually overseeing everything. That is the ceiling essentially. And are they going to be able to adapt and grow with the market, or are they going to continuously say, no, this is the way how we did it, and the next thing you know, market's changing and politicals are agendas are changing it, and then they're contracting and they pretty much wither almost to nothing in some cases. I've even seen this in the oil and gas industry myself. It's actually quite fascinating. I wouldn't say it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just fascinating to see how things change and if certain sectors of industries adapt or don't adapt, what happens. Okay, so the culture is set, the pace is now. How to expect these things to get set, or how to expect these things to get done in a set way. Okay, so that means your pace, okay, our timelines are now going to be able to be more predictable, our workflow is now going to be more predictable, the culture, the attitude, the mindset is going to be more predictable. It's going to be mainly people are going to be in a higher, more of a positive mental state. That's what you're going to be looking for. That's what you're going to be actually kind of going for. Okay, so this doesn't mean sit back and watch things happen. This actually means you as a leader can spend time in an extremely effective way. So understanding, like this individual here, he's an older gentleman with 4 younger gentlemen, and he's essentially mentoring them. He's coaching them. He's pouring into them. Why? Because he knows that these 4 individuals have major impact. Let's just say in this example, the larger stem of things. So he knows his reach is only going to be able to be so effective to so many people for so long. So why not try and duplicate or expand the vision and expand the passion, expand the drive by pouring into those that are essentially closest to him. So he's essentially kind of created an environment where he's like, hey, you are the, ones that I've chosen in order to take us, this organization, to the next level. It's actually very interesting to get into those types of scenarios, situations, and environments, just because you see so many great things happen when, this person has an idea, that person has an idea, this person has an idea, you got 3 ideas, but then next thing you know, you have about 6 or 7 other ideas because those 2 kids, that's another one, those 2, that's another one, these 2, that's another one. And next thing you know, like it's really, a birthing place of change and embracing great things to come. So an influencer's role, like you're like, well, what is this? The expectations and this and that. No. What has happened is that people kind of get onto a path and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, what am I supposed to actually figure out here? How am I supposed to see things in a certain way? Well, it's just to understand, like, what is that person's role in the sense of that situation or circumstance? Well, provide what's most valuable in a critical sense in helping them through tough times personally. So, and influencers, they have in their roles to pour out, but they have to also be poured into. And this is where I'm actually getting into. It's not just this is what they're doing. This is like, okay, for myself, I've been on a very unique journey for 16 years in personal assessment, personal development, trying to go through many different, not necessarily programs. I really only went through one numerous times. And then I was accessed very gratefully, and I'm still, I think I'll forever be in debt to them. Having the access point to such a different arena than the norm in the sense of leadership, mentorship, coaching, just being overall, in a sense, a better person, because who's helping you reach your potential? What is your potential? What's your purpose? Do you even have an idea of what that is? I was in that state. I had no idea. I was like, yeah, I want to achieve great things. I want to do great things. How do I get there? What's this? Why is that happening? When I was able to actually get into a certain space and say, okay, this is where I'm at, I actually fully understand my inner battles, dealt with those, and then I was able to grow in the sense of having a clear lens, understanding things from many different perspectives. And that's where the leadership, mentorship, and coaching kind of came into. That's where I was able to find myself as influencers' roles, where I was able to actually find myself being in a place where I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to actually grow myself so I can better others or help others. Okay. Making sure that some set time or some set of a portion of, it could be a day, a portion of the week, maybe it's something, a little bit more significant in the time sense in a month. I'm not too sure. But you want to start on small things, potentially, like for myself, reading 15 minutes a day, and then understanding the value that, can be happening in regard to their family or their job. So as a leader, understand the influencer's needs in, are they getting that family time that they need? Are they getting that job satisfaction that they need? Do they just need to be, adjusted in a couple of different ways in their like tasks or what the responsibilities are? And it's going to be a lot easier for them to be accountable to you or you to be to them, in the sense of, okay, like, are we actually able to achieve these things? And that's how that's kind of slowly being established. So having the ability to be mentored by you in finding their strengths and making sure that they are plugged into the organization. So what happens is, you're not having an influencer just be an influencer in your organization. They have to have the ability to grow in their strengths. Do they actually know all of their strengths? You have to be able to find that within them and actually be able to make sure that they are plugged in the organization in such a way where they are literally excelling only because of two things. One, they see the value in what they're doing, and they recognize what they're able to do because you're able to show them that they still have much more to accomplish. Okay, so making sure that they're engaged and plugged in, because this individual right here is in great deep thought and thinking, what's my purpose? Am I able to achieve things in my personal life, professional life, and even in my community? And what am I going to be leaving behind? What am I going to be leaving behind when I'm gone in this world? Otherwise, I might as well just come and leave as a speck of dust. Unfortunately, most of us tend to go that road. But life is a journey. It's not a destination. Same with success. So an influencer's needs, see, a space where they can be exposed to many things and experiences. This is essentially kind of like training for battle. See, when you're able to have an influencer that is well equipped in the sense of understanding, hey, my needs are, I need to actually get away and recharge. And what does that recharge look like? Does that look like I just need to go on an experience, a destination experience, like this gentleman here, 3 children, he's in Greece. He's just like, you know what? I'm just living life. I just want to absorb the moment. I'm with the ones that I love the most. And I just want to embrace this. This means the world to me. But how can that be the case for you? What does that mean for you? Okay. So these experiences are places, events, books, and past and present, even being able to have the opportunity to give them a chance, not an opportunity to get ideas from you. So the thing is that as a leader, these influencers, their needs are essentially they need to be on a personal development plan of sorts. That could be audios, readings, and then also given the opportunity to collaborate with you on, hey, what is the ideas of these happenings or those happenings? How is this all going to come together? What does this all kind of look like? And then you have to be able to establish some type of foundation there. And then that way, once that foundation's there, you're going to see things really grow and move forward in a very mighty way. So asking, are their interests aligned and continuing to go in the same direction as yours and in the organizations? Okay, so when you look at this, it has to be established very quickly and efficiently in the sense of like knowing like, okay, how much time do I need to kind of like evaluate, are we still on the same page? Is it every 2 months, 6 months, a year? And it's different for everybody. You can't just have a set like, okay, well, this is what the policy says, this is what the procedure says, we're just going to go here to do this and that. No, you're not a robot. People's needs are not robotic. They are fluid, they are dynamic. People's lives change, they have events happen in their life. So what happens? Their interests change. So you have to always be able to see as a leader, and I've seen this on many occasions for myself, when I'm able to say, okay, this person's not exactly performing very effective right now, and that person's not really productive. What's going on? I literally swapped them out, and then all of a sudden it's just like, whoa, like that was a pretty cool switch. So always asking, okay, so what are your interests? Has they changed? Do we have to, make some minor adjustments here and there? And it could be simple things, not necessarily a lot. You say like, hey, well, you know what? In this season of my life, I just like to get off a little bit earlier. This one day a week might be an hour because of, I want to be a part of my child's. It could be a sporting event. It could be recitals. It could be just an extracurricular activity that the parent just wants to get access to. Others, you know what? It could be completely different. It's just like, I really want to be able to drive this department in a sense where they're able to achieve and see greater and bigger things. I want more responsibility. I want to be accountable for more. I want to be able to do things like the greats did, and then very easily it'll be, well, like sports teams, like how did the sports teams win championship after championship? Once you win one, it's like, oh yeah, okay, we did it. Like, you look at teams that have done it for at least 3 or more years in a row. It's kind of like, what are you really achieving, or what are you trying to set the standard of? Because you're really just repeating that same year over and over again. However, the mental challenge, the physical strain is different year after year. So it's always striving for that next achievement of, okay, well, if we can do it once, can we do it again? Can we be the best of the best? And now let's see how long we can carry this out for. And that's where you see a lot of the mental strength come in. Not just saying now we can tolerate this, but then you can actually see the depth of that mental capacity and that physical demand that might be so straining on the body. And they can actually withstand great, seasons of wear and tear and high expectations on productivity. And they're able to do that. And that's probably more so what their actual goal is. I've been there, and that's, you learn many different things when you're doing something in a sense of trying to achieve it. But if you've done something for a very long period of time, you just know, hey, if I just, well, sometimes it happens even by accident. You're like, oh, I tweaked this, I tweaked that. That worked out a little bit better. Next thing you know, it's like, okay, before I was pretty good. Now I feel like I'm actually phenomenal. And why? Because you notice over the course of time, you just see these small little gaps that can be easily rectified. They were blind spots before, but now what they are is they're actual pockets of opportunity to make small adjustments to be very lean and effective and productive and efficient in whatever you're trying to achieve. And lastly, in an influencer circle, having a mutual professional relationship, not a bad thing. Okay, it's not a bad thing. Just keep it, and you can keep everything in a place of keeping transparency clear, creating an authentic working environment that leads. So basically, you're able to have an inner circle that just is very well grounded and founded on certain values and principles and beliefs on how they do things. And what that'll do is that'll create a certain degree of trust, a certain degree of creativity in making sure that they're able to do things in an authentic way. And that's when you're able to see where your working environment is actually able to lead. Okay. And that's where like it leads to greater things. It leads to more opportunity, growing, expanding, and flourishing. So from this type of influencer and inner circle will naturally have the vision, passion, and drive to carry over to a much further reach in your organization. Why? Because they already are fully equipped. They feel refreshed. They know that they are on a path and they can see where they're heading, and they understand, now I have purpose. Now I have a passion. Now I know where my interests and beliefs are kind of heading toward a certain goal with this organization. So now you have a very strong, transparent, authentic belief in trying to push things forward. So next week, what we'll do is we'll be looking at the ways that they could be actually seeing things at this level, which is pretty interesting in itself. Okay, so next week, we're going to be doing Opening Eyes Opportunities Part 3. We're going to be back 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, work hard, stay humble.